Gotta go live. Get that paper. Neither one of us. Hey, news from the pew. The internet breaks. We talk about it. I am one of your hosts, Rick Barrett, a armed person. We don't know what else that is yet, but I will be something of that nature. And I have my green screen back because I'm on StreamYard and not on Rumble. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Most of you don't. I'm joined by the one and only Steve Cunningham, who will be moving to Florida with me probably in the next 2 years.
Maybe the Lakeland area. I think that's going to be my target.
Hey, we can coordinate, buddy. I was thinking Ocala, but
Lakeland just banned fluoride.
What?
Lakeland just banned fluoride.
Yeah, but Ocala's got a traditional Latin mass, and it's 20 minutes away from an actual Byzantine chapel. They actually have a Byzantine liturgy, like a full chapel. Not like, I love what they have in South Carolina, but they got like a whole
They're trying to build one here. They don't have the funds for it. By the way, if anybody is thinking about this weekend, it is the first week of Lent. For them, it's the second week. But their Sunday, their Sunday of our first Sunday is the anathema chant. So if you never seen the anathema for 7 minutes, it is really it's a manly service.
White Wolf, it may be New Jersey with palm trees, but if Ron DeSantis gets rid of property tax, I don't care what it is.
Dude, it's on the target list. When that came out, I told her, I go, no state income tax we're looking at. There's already no
state income tax. They want to get rid of property tax.
No property taxes on the books.
They want to get rid of the MR. They want to permanently ban the mRNA jab. Chemtrails. I mean, I don't care if global warming is going to wash it out. At least I won't be paying property tax for it.
And then I could grow my avocado with no problem, bananas, oranges, I can grow anything I want without. I mean, it's 32 tonight. I had to go back and put the cloth over the avocados and moringa again. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, you Southerners, you can't handle the cold. Dude, my wife was the one who brought it up. She's like, did you hear that they're getting rid of properties? I was like, yeah. She goes, and I was like, Ocala looks really good because Ocala has things I like. And
all they have to do is one state does it, and then another state will do it, and then another state will do it.
Yep.
It'll be like the NFL, the copycat league in a sense. They'll have to beg for people to come to their state. It's marketing.
It's good marketing too. It's fantastic marketing in that regard. And it also, if they get rid of property taxes, it will ensure Casey DeSantis wins that gubernatorial election. Doesn't matter who runs against her, and it doesn't matter who Trump endorses. So, anyway, enough Florida politics. We'll talk about that in a year or two when we both live there. We'll actually be able to have a studio to do the show in the same place, but we'll see how that.
Trust me, if you watch Reventure App YouTube channel, he focuses on Florida, Texas too, about the home collapse. So the home prices are going down. It just depends on when. It just hasn't happened.
It's going to. When it happens, it will start in Austin. Austin has overbuilt way too much, so it will start there.
Well, the entire Southeast. That's where everyone, especially people, are leaving Florida because that was the Rona state to go to, and now they're leaving. Obviously, they don't want the hurricanes. They just have one bad hurricane year, and their people want to leave. Hey, good luck. Get out of here. You shouldn't live on the coast anyways. Live inland.
Yep. I'm fine. My wife was like, what about hurricanes? I said, honey, I dealt with them up in Rhode Island. We'll be good. You just, when there's a hurricane, you just stay in the one room and I'll take care of everything else. We'll pour it up. It'll be fine. I mean, we deal with, I'd rather deal with a hurricane than the tornadoes that we deal with here. I guarantee.
But we get a hurricane.
Guarantee.
At least hurricanes. That's how we get our water.
Yeah. Hurricanes, at least.
This was different. Helene was different. That's because could have been modified and sat on us for a while, but that's once every 100 years I have. And again, like I said, it's happened in 1916. But most of the time, we want it because we want water.
Yeah. Hurricanes, like I said, you can see a mile away. Tornadoes, those suckers just pop up and they rip everything up and leave. So
you have an idea where they're going.
Yeah, you can at least prepare for them. But speaking of prepare, it's been an interesting week. I'm already, I guess I'm 3 sheets to the wind already. Hiccup. It's been if you are a MAGA coat rider, it's been a great week for you, because the cult of Don continues to grow with no pushback, and outside of Steve and myself, are very few people that actually have criticized the Trump administration for anything. Wednesday morning, you had thought our Lord and Savior had resurrected himself from the dead and had given a speech in front of Congress. Every single conservative outlet drooling over a speech. And it's just like, come on, guys. He's a dude. And it's, he isn't perfect. And the stuff that he has allowed to happen is actually pretty bad. And, because he's owning the libs or whatever the case may be. And
we're winning. We're winning.
Yeah. Oh, are you what's the phrase, Steve? Are you tired of winning?
Tired of winning. Tired.
We're just owning the libs all day.
Well, we're upset. I'm sure you are upset that he didn't win the Peace Prize.
Do you know what the United Nations resolution was? I'll tell you if you want to hear what it was. It basically said this has been a horrible war. It's time for it to end. The job of the UN is to bring about peace in the world. I thought that's what the UN was created to do, to stop wars and to prevent them. And that's what the resolution did. Was it antagonistic towards the Russians? No. Back to the point. But it also didn't praise the Russians. All it said is, this is a bad war. It needs to end. And by the way, at the Security Council, which has not been widely reported, the first resolution on Ukraine that has passed the Security Council in 3 years, passed this week because of the leadership of President Trump. And it's a resolution that says, bad war needs to end. Let's bring the two sides together. That's what the resolution is. Again, what is the United Nations for? Isn't it not a forum to promote peace in the world? And shouldn't we all be happy that we have a president who's trying to stop wars and prevent them instead of start them? And I just don't get it. I really don't, other than the fact that it's Donald J. Trump. If this was a Democrat that was doing this, everyone would be saying, well, he's on his way to the Nobel Peace Prize. This is absurd. We are trying to end a war. You cannot end a war unless both sides come to the table, starting with the Russians. And that is the point the president has made. And we have to do whatever we can to try to bring them to the table to see if it's even possible. I'm not promising you it's possible. I'm not telling you it's 90% likely. I'm saying it's 0% likely if we don't get them to a negotiating table. And the sooner everyone grows up around here and figures out that this is a bad war that's heading in a bad direction with death and destruction and all kinds of dangers surrounding it that could spiral into a broader conflict, the sooner people grow up and realize that, I think the more progress we're going to be able to make. But the president's crystal clear. He campaigned on it, and he's going to govern on it. And that is, he is going to be a president that tries to achieve peace, and he has been very clear this is a war that would have never happened had Donald Trump been in the White House, and it needs to end, and we're going to do everything we can to end it in an enduring and sustainable and fair way.
I have a question, young sir. What is your definition of peace?
I liked it better when he showed up with that his giant ash cross. The other days when he made sure he had everybody tell him, make sure it's nice and see. Yeah, what is peace? And boy, oh boy, Steve, don't mention Israel when the Trumpites, there's the Hulkamaniacs, there's the Trumpomaniacs, they start talking about he's taking all the money away from the Ukraine and he's taking all that back. And then Steve's like, well, what about Israel? Steve, what do you want him to do, Steve? Come on, Steve. Don't talk about Israel, Steve.
That everybody probably saw a scene. Everybody probably seen the Ukraine show, right? The Ukraine when the general, the comedian, the comedic guy came over and sat with JD Thiel and DJT and that whole nonsense that went on, the charade, I would call it. But yeah, at that same day that went down, he just gave. I'll pull it up again. It came out from the AP. So this is obviously, like I said, this is anti-war coming out with it. But the AP broke it. Gave $3 billion to most favored nation. The same day, all that jazz was going on. By the way, I don't know if you saw that tweet. I loved it. I was bringing it up because I was going this. I don't know if you saw the tweet. I said, this looks like it was a staged event. They're sitting there. There's two actors, DJ and Zelensky, both actors. This is a made-for-TV show.
Don't forget, JD has Hollywood experience.
There's the
JD
fact
did have a film made about him.
Yeah, he has an IMBD account.
Yep.
So when I saw that, I'm going, wow, I did not know about JD being an actor too. The whole daggone thing was a staged event because everybody was talking about. Did you see what they? Go get him, JD. Go get him, Trump. So I mean, it was literally reality TV. We're watching reality TV. And then again, the other day with the State of the Union address, that reality TV. Your boy got up on stage. Yeah, man. I wasn't going to watch it anyway, but I definitely was staying away from any online thing because you know how it was. Just like any other event. If Obama was doing it,
it was political theater through the roof.
Oh.
I mean, Al Green with his cane shaking it at Trump, and then you had the pre-written paddle signs, and Rashid Tlaib apparently got late, so she had to use a whiteboard because she was the last kid in there, and it's something that that's why Steve's computer breaks down every time we have a show, because he's got more tabs than anything else.
I'm a shade under 300, not including for this show.
Yeah, right. That's just on a normal day.
It's kind of when I open it up.
But it is perfect red meat political theater, because as soon as it was the message. It was the greatest speech I've ever seen, Steve. It was the greatest speech of my lifetime, Steve. Did you see this, Steve? I mean, this is just amazing, Steve. I can't believe it. You know, the Democrats don't know what to do. They're just yelling and wearing pink and doing all. It's like, come on, guys.
Remember Joe Wilson? You lie, Obama. It happens every time.
Yeah.
Ever since then, ever since Joe, it got really.
Your girl Nancy Mace was leading the charge to get Al Green kicked out. She was making a big old scene. You know, the honorable representative from South Carolina.
Maybe we're trying to be like Britain, because I mean, if you watch British Parliament, it's actually
theirs is awesome. Do you see Serbia? They were throwing gas cans.
They get into it.
They commit. They commit to that bit, man.
That's some real stuff that goes on there.
Yeah, but they ain't messing around with any of that.
Just if you go back to the day prior, you have the cheerleader in chief, Ojako here, saying no one comes to the Oval Office and dictates terms. No one. He got lambasted, just brutal. It was throw in the darn towel style with everyone their brother, just putting Israel photos, memes, things like that. Going, really, Jack? Skip on Israel? But again, it goes back to the State Union thing. You had this thing going on too. Everyone was making a big deal about it. The multi-video scene. You seen this?
Oh, yep.
Everybody's saying the same thing. Everybody has the mic in the same position, same words, just like the one during the Rona, where it's a danger to the democracy and all that when they had the news channels. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a weird, stupid thing that they're doing. First off, why are they doing it? Don't they know that everyone, their brother, is going to figure that out and put something together? They have to know that was going to be in the, just, scattered around. But the other team does it. I mean, not to jump days ahead, but what's been the main tweet of the fake right the last day and the last 12 hours? Going after Amy Coney Barrett. Same thing, same photos, same video, same 3x5 card. They tweet just as bad. Each side plays this game.
My 2 cents is we'll cover her real quick. My thing on Amy Coney Barrett is not the face. I don't think she may not like Trump. I will give them that. But she was a result of a DEI pick right before the election. They needed somebody that could sail through pretty easily after Kavanaugh and all these other things. She had a pretty clean record and all these. She was a woman, so she would appeal to that base. That's why I don't think it was any of this other kind of stuff that these people were going nuts on. But of course, my analysis was calm and rational. That's why it would actually work. Unlike everybody else's, which was just like, Amy Coney Barrett is the worst person that has ever existed.
Well, that's what we said back then. We said that they're going to go with this guy. Then the next one up, the third one, he's going to go with the easy. Here's the squeeze button. It's going to be a hit. Yep. It's not. No one's going to field it.
She's going to hold up her notebook that's empty, and everybody's going to be like, she is the smartest woman that has ever existed. Did you not understand that? And it's just fantastic.
It was a softball. We knew that was it. Exactly right. It was a strategic
It was, as George W. Bush would say, strategery. It was some strategery that was on display.
We could actually have multiple presidents on today. That's good. That's probably something.
Not yet. You don't get them yet. You don't get a little W first. You got to get a little W because I'm painting over here. You see me? I'm painting this thing. I don't know what it is, but I think it's the Taliban. My buddy Brian, she's charismatic. She's a big Catholic, so that was one of her things. But
I mean, I didn't see the whole thing. I just saw that it's about the contracts. So if the ruling is that they have to honor the contracts,
just the ones that have been already completed.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a legal binding thing. If you have a contract like that and you signed off and you have to give it because they're making it out to be I think it was Jack that said something about that. He did everything that they said because DJ had
it's pre-approved by Charlie Kirk and T. Pusa.
Yeah, and they brought up the whole nutty thing, the nutter stuff. This is going after the study for kangaroo trannies, whatever.
Oh, transgender mice. That was some of the stuff is funny. And yeah. I mean, Trump is a reality guy when he does the speech and he's like, they do it for transgender mice. What the hell is that? Sorry for swearing.
You have to do that. Because if you say the real stuff that USAID does, they're going to go like, well, that's not too bad.
Overturning countries.
They do that, but it was like they gave money to Gaza in 2016, I think, to rebuild. There's some good stuff that they've done. Not everything's 100% terrible, but hey, and this is coming from a guy who doesn't want DC to exist. Okay, before anybody goes, you know who I am. Done.
Disclaimer. Yeah. This is divorce from DC Steve.
It's not like I'm defending this. I'm just defending the rule of law on this because when the next guys come in, you're going to see this on freaking steroids. And you're not going to be going, we're winning.
When President Gavin Newsom walks in, he is going to sign 250 executive orders before he's sworn in. And then he's going to sign another 300
while he's doing it.
Yeah. Yep. I solemnly swear. Can we hurry this up? No. He's not even going to put his hand on the Bible. He's going to put his hand on the executive orders as he's signing them. All right, next. Yep. So help me, blah, blah, blah. So help me, Allah. Let's go. But yada. So
yeah, because
the whole just circus, and it's doing exactly what Steve and I said. I'm going to hammer this home because nobody else said it. They put DJT in so none of y'all would pay attention to anything else that's happening because you are just high on the copium or on the Trumpomaniac. I
got a post on that. You're foreshadowing. You're foreshadowing a future link.
Yeah.
Since you brought up USAID, here's the top agencies by dollars cut. 5.2 billion USAID. Treasuries lost cut 2.1 billion. Education 500 million. Homeland Security 300 million. General Services, Social Security 264 million. I don't know how you cut that because it's already broke. I mean, how you cut that? HSS 258 million, agriculture 195, labor 167, and state 89 million. So I mean, they have a whole graph on all this up here at Zero Hedge about what DOGE is doing, which is kind of funny because DJ told him today Trump puts new limits on Elon, said that he cannot fire people.
All right, Elon, you got to put the chainsaw down. You actually can't use it on people. You use it on people, they're going to get mad. No chainsaws.
I can only use it.
Stop impregnating women. Put it all down. Just go home. Go in your spaceship. Fly around for a bit.
We saw a couple of pushbacks because he pushed that thing out saying, send the email out. If you don't respond back, you're fired. And you had even people in the people in the cabinet tell him, yeah, don't worry about that.
So yeah, Tulsi and Cash who are like, don't tell him what we're doing.
Yeah.
National security stuff. So
it's bad enough what Elon's doing. And I know most people watching on here that are in the chat room, they're probably on board. They understand what's going on, but most don't. I mean, again, you got DJ out here going, if you don't return the hostages, you're all dead.
Oh, you're all dead. Signed Donald J. Trump, President of the United States.
In the context of that, he's just got done, had those hostages, the Israeli hostages from Palestine to come over, and they all look good and all that, which if anybody ever sees them say that they didn't have enough food, they didn't have enough drink, don't let them get away with, especially the online cheerleaders, don't let them get away with. Hamas did that. Remember, Israel put a blockade around and did not allow anything, food, water, anything, supplies into Palestine, which, hey, Bibi's doing that right now. But when they did that, people inside could not do it. Now you look at the Gaza hostages at Israel, they look like they've been beaten senseless. Some of them are dead. But the guys you see that come back from Gaza that are the quote unquote Hamas ones, you'll see they're smiling, they're having a good time. They were saying they literally say they were treated nice. It's the ones when they get on TV for the media, they get this sob story of how bad they got treated. So it is. I mean, these guys look like Skeletor coming out, and they say, "Oh no, Hamas didn't do that." Israel literally banned food and supplies from getting in there. Which, again, with the Hannibal Directive, they're fine with killing everyone else. It's just like Samson, push it all down. Like, we die with them. That's their idea.
You got to cut his hair first.
Yeah, true. Well, here's Bibi, because, what's his face? Zelensky didn't say thank you, according to JD, in that staged WWF pay-per-view event that came down on Rumble for your live action. Maybe next time it will be on Rogan.
President Trump for his unwavering support for Israel. During my recent visit to Washington, I said that Donald Trump is the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House.
You can thank
and President Trump shows that friendship each and every day. He has shown it through his visionary plan for Gaza. This is a plan which Israel fully supports.
Yes, killing them all.
He's shown it by sending us all the
munitions. We're gonna have Gaza. It's gonna be beautiful.
This way, he's giving Israel the tools we need to finish the job against Iran's terror axis.
$16 billion.
And he has shown it by fully backing Israel and putting the pressure to release the hostages where it truly belongs, on Hamas. Israel has accepted President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff's plan to extend the temporary ceasefire by 50 days.
So we can exterminate.
During that time, we can discuss the conditions for a permanent ceasefire that will end the war in Gaza.
We call it target practice.
In Witkoff's plan, half of the hostages would be released right away, and the remaining half would be released if we reach an agreement on a permanent ceasefire.
We'll shoot them later.
Again, Israel has accepted this plan. I accepted this plan. But so far, Hamas has rejected it.
What a
Hamas
shock.
has also put forward...
You want to
really?
I can't say it. Where's the button? Yeah.
You think Gaza are not big fans of it? When Trump put out his AI Trump Gaza town, whatever, or as who was calling it?
The day after they did the ceasefire, Israel killed. They're on record proudly. That's how we got the number. We killed about 50 people the next day. They do not care about ceasefire. You look up a ceasefire that Israel has, you guarantee the next day they're killing people. And it's mostly probably kids.
Yep.
Which, here's Bibi right after the thank yous.
אמש קיימתי דיון ביטחוני בהשתתפות שר הביטחון, ראשי הסיעות, בכירי מערכת הביטחון וצוות המשא ומתן. בסיום הדיון החלטנו על הצעדים הבאים. ישראל מאמצת את המתווה של שליחו של הנשיא טראמפ, סטיב ויטקוף, להפסקת אש זמנית לתקופת הרמדאן והפסח. אנחנו מתואמים באופן מלא עם הנשיא טראמפ ואנשיו. לפי המידע שיש בישראל...
By the way, Israel's all about some kind of attack on some kind of holy day.
Hamas...
And not saying Ramadan's a holy day. Lent started too, and there's Catholics over there.
Yeah, Bethlehem is there, guys.
עד 24 חיים ולפחות 35 חללים. אנחנו לא מוותרים על אף אחד מהם, ואנחנו נחושים להחזיר את כולם הביתה. לפי הצעת ויטקוף, ביום הראשון של המתווה שלו, ישוחררו בפעימה אחת מחצית מהחטופים. בסופו של המתווה, אם תושג הסכמה, ישוחררו יתר החטופים, גם הם בפעימה אחת. ויטקוף הציע את המתווה להארכת הפסקת האש, לאחר שהוא התרשם שאין בשלב זה אפשרות לגשר בין שתי העמדות של ישראל ושל החמאס לגבי שלב ב', ושדרוש זמן נוסף לשיחות כדי להשיג הסכמה אפשרית. הוא אף הגדיר את הצעתו כפרוזדור למשא ומתן השלב ב'. ישראל מוכנה לכך. ואני רוצה להבהיר, בניגוד לטענות שאני שומע מהפרשנים באולפנים, ישראל איננה נמצאת בהפרה, בעוד שהחמאס הפר פעם אחר פעם את ההסכם של שלב א'. על פי ההסכם המקורי, ישראל יכולה לחזור ללחימה לאחר היום ה-42, אם היא מתרשמת שהמשא ומתן לא אפקטיבי. הסעיף הזה נתמך במכתב צד של הממשל האמריקני הקודם, וקיבל גם את הגיבוי והתמיכה של ממשל טראמפ. אבל על אף זאת, הסכמנו למתווה וויטקוף, כי אנחנו מחויבים להשיב את חטופינו. בעוד שישראל הסכימה למתווה הזה, החמאס עד כה דבק בסירובו, הוא לא מסכים למתווה. אם חמאס ישנה את עמדתו, ישראל תיכנס מיד למשא ומתן ליישום המתווה. ואני רוצה להעביר דבר נוסף. לא יהיו ארוחות חינם. אם החמאס חושב שניתן יהיה להמשיך...
no free lunches, that Israel gets free lunches all the time.
הפסקת האש, או ליהנות מתנאי שלב א', מבלי שנקבל חטופים, הוא טועה בגדול. אני מבקש להעביר לכם, אזרחי ישראל, סיימנו את שלב א' בהצלחה גדולה מאוד. אנחנו שחררנו 30 חטופים חיים, והחזרנו הביתה 8 חללים לקבר ישראל. מעטים האמינו שנצליח בכך, אבל פעלנו בנחישות ובתקיפות, והצלחנו.
We keep doing this, I'm going to have a kebab.
ולאור סירובו של החמאס
Keep listening to this stuff, man.
החמאס משתלט בימים אלה על כל האספקה והאספקה.
Here's the main part of it.
החלטנו בדיון אמש שהחל מהבוקר נמנע כל כניסה של סחורות והאספקה לעזה. וצריך להדגיש כאן.
So they're cutting off supplies again in the Gaza. So no water, no food, no drink, no supplies, no nothing. So again, the Holocaust continues, and you're paying it with your tax dollars. Congratulations! Tell your big Trump DJT guys how much you're winning by pretty much
Israel.
Yeah.
Hey man, once we get the Gaza Flyer hockey team though, it's gonna be great. You know, we're gonna have the Gaza Buckies and the Gaza Texas Roadhouse and the Maragazo, as I've heard it called at this point, where Trump gets his Trump Hotel at Maragazo. And it's going to be beautiful for all those people who supported our most favorite and greatest ally. It's either Britain or Israel or whoever the hell we're talking about. I'm sorry. Yeah, at that point. But
since the entire week, there's been something you've been focused on and something else going on. So Tuesday, the Zelensky show that came on the act and it went down, and $3 billion went to Israel while you were paying things. I never get how great this is. Next day, the State of the Union address. By the way, I just love breaking up the State of the Union. It's not State of the Nation. It's not State of the Country. It's State of the Union.
Yeah, and you can literally thank Woodrow Wilson for it because it's not supposed to be done that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Woodrow Wilson with the pomp and circumstance, watching the king come out. Used to just be a letter.
Just be a letter. Yeah. Just show up. That's a political speech for an hour and a half.
Yep.
So
that's all. It's and networks love it because it's free. It's airtime. It's stuff to fill content. You know what it is, Steve? It's content. In this day and age, it's all content. Whatever it is, political, sports, it's just content to fill airtime.
Exactly. Gets eyeballs. If you hate him, brings eyeballs. You love him, brings eyeballs. Doesn't matter. He's a marketing guru. He knows how to market himself. Bad marketing, bad publicity is going to be good publicity. It's
excellent.
Doesn't matter. So while that was going on, you had all the nations in the Middle East meeting up.
Have gathered in the Egyptian capital Cairo to discuss an alternative to Donald Trump's widely condemned Gaza plan. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, addressing the Emergency Arab League summit, called for the adoption of a plan that supports the Palestinian people's rights to rebuild their country.
It's a plan which preserves to the Palestinian people their right to reconstruct their nation and also guarantees them staying on their territories. And I underscore that this plan must witness at the same time a track for peace at the political and security level, whereby the regional countries would participate, supported by the international community, which aims to reach a just and comprehensive and sustainable settlement for the Palestinian cause.
Iraqi President Abdul Latif Rashid warned of the dire consequences of displacing Palestinians and urged stronger humanitarian aid efforts. He backed the summit's Gaza reconstruction plan and urged the UN to fulfill its responsibilities. Another figure in the summit, the Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abdul Gate, stressed ending the Israeli occupation and ensuring Gaza's reconstruction with its residents present in their own land. The EU representative also opposed democratic changes in Gaza and urged commitment to the ceasefire and prisoner swap. UN Chief Antonio Guterres also addressed the Cairo summit, stressing the importance of delivering the much-needed humanitarian aid for the Gaza Strip.
So there was who's on the judge? Colonel, you ever watch the Judge and Half show?
If I ask you what that is, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess so. One of the former colonel generals, he was on, and he was saying that right before that happened, is saying there's one option really. It's going to be they will have to go to war with Israel, which means
we are going to be going to war with Israel.
Yep.
We're back in the Middle East, buddy. We're back in the middle. We'll be back in the Middle East. So.
I thought he said peace, president. What was it? What am I reading that wrong?
I think you're not getting the memo. You're not getting the Tipusa memos. You got to be saying he's the most peaceful president, most transparent, peaceful administration ever, Steve.
Ever. I just,
the second coming of George Washington and Ronald Reagan combined.
Know what I got right here? Here's the Epstein files.
Yeah. You have your binder?
It finally came through.
Yeah.
You
notice how that, folks, has disappeared. Pam Bondi, I have them. No, I don't, because New York, the Southern District told me that they gave them to me. Now they don't. I'm going to have them on Friday. Friday came and went. Well, I got a truckload of them, and I have them.
Better be here.
By the way, I have to redact national security secrets.
Mm-hmm.
National security secrets in a child exploitation ring.
It better be here by 8.
You're not getting anything. You're not getting anything.
You ain't getting none.
You're not. You're gonna get this, and of course the talking. Jack with his binder, Liz Wheeler with her binder, and then of course they haven't been held to any standard. The grifter, the conservative influencer groups came out and surrounded and protected them. Oh, it's not their fault. Oh, it's not their fault. It's the Southern District of New York. And she's like, I'm gonna fire the guy who's there. It's like, you are in charge of the DOJ. Why are you getting run around? Oh, because
Well, she's moved on to anti-Semitism language now. That's the priority.
Yes, and going after these things here and there. Excuse me, here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, you were gonna get those Epstein files. I didn't say it on your show. Cheesy Glenn Beck was out there saying, as soon as Kash Patel gets in, 10 days after we're getting the Epstein list. 10 days. 10 days we're getting it. And everybody was like, Glenn, are you sure you want to say that? Kash has told me 10 days. 10 days. So
give or take 30.
And Glenn's back on his chalkboard trying to make it figure out like why it's not Cash's fault, or why it's not Pam Bondi's fault, or why it's not anybody else's fault. It's the Democrats' fault. You are in charge of everything right now. You are in charge of everything.
Mark Levin did that with her too. So he gave like a hypothetical question, like it was fact. Like, those Democrats, right?
Yeah.
Here, it was like the week in review almost. No Epstein files. 16. This is actually from since the beginning. 16 billion to Israel in a month. 3 U.S. airstrikes in Somalia in 2 weeks. No one talks about that. And I forgot about that. RFK Jr. pushing the MMR vaccines for the measles. Where I have that link somewhere here. There it is. Measles outbreak. MMR vaccine is crucial to avoiding potential deadly disease. He spoke against that. There's video of him saying, I'll never let my kids take it.
You probably still won't.
Where's that gatekeep? What gatekeep? Rip his arms off. Oh, this gatekeep. Flip-flop like that.
Like I was saying before, one of the reasons I don't like the fact that everybody's saying, oh, God, Trump's a former Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard's a Democrat. RFK's a Democrat. Look at all the Elon Musk. They're all Republicans. Never been Republicans. They just went to the winning team. RFK is a Democrat. He ran as a Democrat in 2024 until they kicked him out. So this doesn't shock me in any way, shape, or form that he's going to backtrack on this. You're going to get rid of like red dye number 3, and that's going to be the big like accomplishment of RFK. We're going to get rid of red dye 5, red dye 4, and maybe some other things, but no, measles vaccines are fine. I take them. My kids won't. But it's just, maybe you'll outlaw dominoes, but that's probably the only things that you're going to be seeing at this point. In Tulsi, you guys have just been. Steve and I, we have a clear conscience because we told y'all what was going to happen. Now, did I vote for Trump? Yeah, I voted for Trump because I didn't want Kamala to win. And I played the game. So you can come after me and call me a hypocrite. That's fine. I'll take it. But I'll admit it. I still, I don't think it was a bad choice or whatever the case may be. But I knew it when I pulled the lever. I knew exactly what was going to happen. Well, I actually no, because I should have. I'm kind of working this out in my brain in real time. The IVF thing is kind of a deal breaker for me. I didn't know he was going to be that quick on that trigger for IVF, but everything else I really don't have a problem with because it would all happen no matter what. So.
Yeah, on that point, because there was a lady that posted that, and kind of gets into another topic that we want to get into. 2025 crypto prediction. Trump continues his pro Bitcoin crypto narrative. Government passes stablecoin digital asset regulation. Regulations expose Tether as insolvent. We'll get into this one in a minute because Tether, there's important news on that. Tether, major BTC holder collapses, brings the entire crypto industry down with it. Crypto exchange, making crypto hard to purchase at the bottom. US dollar collapses. JP Morgan and the gang step up to blah, blah, blah. Word crypto is forever replaced with digital asset. JP Morgan to sell digital assets back to you and the institutional pump is over. Programmable stable coin. Remember that EO that talked about, banning CBDC? It made the stable coins. That's the thing that made it worse.
And they set up a Bitcoin reserve on top of it.
Yep. That's where we're getting. That's part of this whole Tether thing that's coming up here. Trump and Elon's job is complete. Republican-controlled opposition kept EU ignorant and compliant. When the Dems get back in office, they will censor the digital dollar more and more. Your grandkids will pay for your ignorance, not financial. So yeah, there's a lot of that. We'll get in. I guess I could get into the Tether thing right now. I mean,
yeah, might as well just weave. We're kind of just weaving wherever we go, Steve. If you wanna bring that up, we can cover that.
I'll do a couple of links to get into that. As Trump is a Russia allies way sharing less intel with the U.S. France is open to talks to extend nuclear shield to Europe. Spooked by Trump and Putin, Europe rushes to rearm. It's a change.
Here's the thing with that, though. They don't have the ability to. No. Like, they can try to rearm, but they've spent so much money on their social program, Steve, that there is no money to spend on rearming.
Right.
The rearming thing is going to happen for maybe a couple months. Here's a quick fact for you, and I know I'm slowing down the pace. I apologize.
You're good.
Britain's military, their army, the ones they want to send into they have 75,000 active military members. Now, granted, the Brits have been by our side in Afghanistan and all. They've been ride or die, and I give them credit for all that stuff. Outside of this, right? Wherever they went, wherever we went, they kind of followed. But if they're going to be the lead dog on this, they only have 75,000 troops to put in there. That's not a lot when you think about it. France, I think, has 300,000, and that's just because it's bigger. And the fact is that the French can't afford to send troops anywhere because they got to keep them in house because they don't know when the next riot's going to take place. My exception on female politics, Georgia Merloni, came out earlier in the week and said, well, you're not sending my troop. You guys can go in with your troops, but you're not sending mine. Of course, today she's like, yeah, but you know what? Maybe Ukraine should have military membership in NATO. Why not? So
she got a phone call late night.
Yeah, this is BB. Georgie, hello. And so you know, she's a female politician, so flip flopping is not very outside of the range for what she would do.
It comes with the game. Flip flopping is it's the first one you check. Can you flip flop? It's like the wind.
Yeah, I don't even have a spine. What are you talking about? I'm barely held up. You know,
how much can you sell your soul for? $5? Okay.
Yeah. Crypto, whatever crypto you want to give me, that's fine. 20 million in cryptocurrency, I'll take it. That works for me. But the fact.
No, but that gets back to this whole idea of who paid for the transition power. The donors are still unknown because they have yet to do any of the ethics signing, which DJT enacted in his first reign. He's totally ignoring that right now. Nobody in the cabinet, him himself, has done an ethics pledge at all. There's no signings for it. He implemented it, and he's not doing any of that from his first term. That should, again. What if Brandon did that? I mean, we're gonna say that for the next 4 years. All right, now pretend that's Brandon doing it, and now go.
Pretend it's Obama. Pretend it's Hillary. Pretend it's President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Pretend it's anybody that you don't like.
Yeah, wait till the next guy. Wait till Gruesome Newsom comes in, like you said, and there's no ethics board, no ethics pledge.
Yep. Yeah.
You're gonna see Marco then pop his head.
I mean, Glenn Beck's face from the movie Clue, flames from the side of my face, just flames out the side of my face. That'll be him the entire time. So it is what it is. Yeah, guys, you are living in a monarchy, and Steve has been saying this for years. You're elected monarchy, which is why I'm like, you know what? If they just want to make Trump king, I don't care at this point because he already is. Let's just keep one. You know, because we're talking about putting his face on the $20 bill, on the $250 bill, on the $100 bill now. And we're going to put his face on Mount Rushmore. And we're going to make everything out after it. So,
well, it's like Lex Luthor and Superman.
Yeah.
Lutherville.
Yeah. It's all.
Otis gets says Otisburg. It's a small little town. Just
it's
Otisburg.
Yeah. So it's fine because I'm in a way, Steve, it's good that it's happening this way because you hope people will actually wake up and see, even though they won't until the next guy comes.
Until it's too late.
Until the other guy, until it's not, as Steve likes to say, your guy doing it.
Won't even get that far. It's going to get worse before the new guy gets. It'll get worse before this year. That's why we're running up this thing for the tethered T's in a sense. Anyway, we do know who Trump has kind of backed up. Remember Adelson? I have the thing that I have on the channel right now. If you go to the truth behind USAID and the Gaza thing, she gave him billions just to go in and clean house in there. Trump boasts he's accomplishing great things. Why is the economy so sluggish? He can't go on blaming Brandon for another couple of months. Yep. Americans fall behind on car payments at the highest rate in decades. Walmart asked Chinese suppliers for major cuts on Trump tariffs.
Hooters is going bankrupt. Come on, man.
U.S. trade deficit surges to a record ahead of the Trump tariffs. By the way, the Trump tariffs, U.S. pauses tariffs on some Canadian Mexican imports until April 2nd. So, yeah, sometimes we just, did we say tariffs? We meant happy camps. Peter Schiff brings up they're not the way to rebuild America's manufacturing base. Anybody with two working brains knows this. Now, again, the whole idea behind it is Canada is it's the fair thing that they have tariffs on our things, so that the whole basically like reciprocal. Hey, we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. We're not going to take it anymore. Type deal thing. Because if it's about fentanyl, there's a video out. I got to find it. The Canadian guy goes, it's like less than 0.5% of fentanyl comes through Canadian border. If it's because of terror, it's like less than 1% of undocumented persons come out of Canada. How many Wookiees are coming down from Canada and just doing some kind of a drug bust in I don't know, North Dakota somewhere when it's 65 degrees below zero. It ain't not happening. Now maybe happens more down south. Where's the next one on that? Solari report. Yes, here we go. Check if you're not following the Solar Report, please do that. It talks about the missing money. $21 trillion is missing from the U.S. government. That is $65,000 per person, as much as the national debt.
Hey, you know what else didn't happen, Steve? We didn't audit Fort Knox, did we?
It was just a talk. We were just talking about it because you remember
live stream Fort Knox, and now we're not. Where's the gold, man?
Diehard already did that.
I know. I was about to say, right? The brother got it.
He's the brother got it. Yeah, the brother got it. Which again, it goes back to 9/11, the gold heist that happened down there. There was gold in the other towers. They ran off too quick. Look that one up. Anyway, back to the action. This Tether, 6 months after he said this, Tether revealed that it's up to $100 billion U.S. debt. Then Tether invested $775 million in the Rumble. Then the CEO of Tether's custodian became Trump's transition chief and now Commerce Secretary. It happened yesterday, I think. Then Trump launched a $15 billion crypto, we're not going to, coin. Here's Howard Lutnick. President Trump participates in the ceremonial swearing in of Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick. Who he be?
Yeah. Oh, who he be?
He's the CEO of Tether. He's linked to Jeffrey Epstein. You're never going to hear about it. He's linked to 9/11. He's it's a different one. This came out the other day in a tweet. U.S. crypto reserve will elevate the critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Brandon administration, which is why my executive order. Should I let you read this in Trump language?
Which part? Both?
Either.
The second one?
Yeah.
The U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry, so critical, after years of corrupt attacks by Biden, Sleepy Joe, and Kamala, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed by a presidential working group to move forward on crypto strategic reserve, so strategic, so important, that includes what the hell is XRP, I don't even know what I'm reading. What am I, JD, just what is, SOL and ADA, like ADHD, is that, all right. I will make sure the U.S. is crypto capital, the Mara capitala of the world. We are making America great again in caps. Signed, DJT.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. That'll be 400 million crypto.
There's Starlink poised to take over 2.4 billion contract over all the airplane. But notice, Steve, how we had all these problems with air traffic control, and who's going to save us?
Gonna save us.
Skynet's coming. Skynet is here.
Well, that's okay. By 2050, we won't be flying anyway. So let Skynet take over.
He might not be buying anything. Listen to this guy, and he'll tell you what Tether is.
100% tariffs against the BRICS for going away from the mighty dollar, when the entire central thesis of Bitcoin is to be away from the mighty dollar. It's an anti-fiat, decentralized, apolitical narrative. Now it couldn't be more centralized, more political, and frankly, more centralized. And so these paradoxes, Voorhees wanted something outside the system, now it's in the system. Trump said it was a scam 3 years ago, now it's making the headlines as a Bitcoin strategic reserve. You've got to ask why this sudden change. And if Trump is so afraid of the BRICS going away from the dollar, why would he laud Bitcoin, which his entire narrative is to be anti-dollar? And the way I look at it is, again, I think, and Luke Groman made a brilliant analogy of this in the 1970s. This is not a conspiracy theory. OPEC got together with Kissinger and his crew and they said, look, and this came out 10 years ago. It's not a theory, it's a reality. We're going to inflate oil. We're going to inflate it by hundreds of percentage points. It's dollar backed with the petrodollar now. We're going to inflate it. It's going to draw attention into the oil trade. It's going to help us pay down some of our post-Vietnam debts. And to me, it's very coincidental that we're inflating Bitcoin now politically to draw attention to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin and Ripple are a pair trade. You can trade between Bitcoin and Ripple. The higher the Bitcoin price, the higher the interest in Ripple. You create a bubble in Bitcoin, very centralized, very pre-thought out years ago, in my opinion, long before Bitcoin was launched, Ripple and XRP was launched. It makes perfect sense now. You make a bubble in Bitcoin, and then you use that to draw money into Tether, which is going to be supported by U.S. Treasuries. It takes the pressure off the Fed and off the headlines to buy unwanted bonds. It's kind of complicated, but it makes sense. By the way, that doesn't mean that's actually a tailwind for Bitcoin, the politicization, the centralization of Bitcoin. It's actually good for Bitcoin investors. So I'm not saying Bitcoin's stupid, Bitcoin's going to die, Bitcoin's going to zero. I'm saying Bitcoin's narrative of decentralized, anti-fiat, anti-government maverick, ironically, is the exact opposite of that. And that's typically how PSYOPs work or Intel programs work. You telegraph something as something blue when in fact it's a red pill. And that's a very cynical view, could be wrong, but I don't think it's a coincidence that you have former guys like Glenn Lilly, who was at the NSA, who created the Bitcoin deep hash programs in 2001. It's not a coincidence that Ripple came out before Bitcoin. To me, it all is, the dots are all connecting. In short, we're creating a Bitcoin bubble to create a Tether interest, and Tether is CBDC. It's just not issued by a central bank.
Good night, everybody.
And Bitcoin was
and
the
we're done.
best way to get people to adopt CBDC, because everybody tells you, oh man, buy crypto, man. Buy Bitcoin, buy a little bit of Bitcoin, just keep it in a wallet. And then it generates wealth for you, Steve. It just makes money for you. And of course, Greg Abbott is making Texas the crypto capital of these United States. He's bringing in every crypto person he can find to mine crypto here in this beautiful republic, which will be ground zero for CBDC and all of these other things. And right now, people are whistling past the graveyard because they're just too busy. And I mean, I made a joke about this before we went on there. Hey man, I'll deal with the CBDC later. Just give me money now. I'll deal with it later. I just need cash now. JG Wentworth, let's go.
8776 now. Well, yeah, dude,
I'm tired of being right. I'm tired of being right, Steve. Every week, tired,
dude. I mean, it's literally in there. He just got the CEO. Here's the CEO guy right here. That's just one thing.
Brought up the Tether situation because.
Oh, let me let him go. He dropped some BS bar in there, man.
Publish a video bullish on bullshit, which was a reason to invest in Bitcoin because there was a scam at the heart of it called Tether, which was supporting its liquidity and which was pumping up the Bitcoin price through the process that you just described.
So, Mike, they're not pumping the price of Bitcoin. They're pumping the price of the amount of liquidity that fiat needs to prevent the impairment of really bad just policies and zombie companies that need another breath of the fiat air, right, or the fiat liquidity.
What would happen to the price of Bitcoin if Tether died tomorrow?
Well, it would, in the short term, if liquidity dries up, Bitcoin gets punished. We've seen this over and over again. But they can't let that deflation rip through the economy, or else everybody's living in tent city.
Hey, this is actually happening. That guy is the Commerce Secretary in the DJT administration, linked to all the Epstein background. We've got George Soros, the guy in the right-hand man, is the Treasury Secretary.
Hey,
what are you going to do to open these guys' eyes?
Strong, brother. The cult of JD is strong. You got to be careful. The Catholics, woo, JD sneezes and everybody's like, is that incense? Do I bless myself when he sneezes? Because boy, oh boy, he was a convert and now he's here and everybody loves themselves some JD Vance. Listen, I think the guy's, he's fine. He gives a heck of a speech. But he may have come from Appalachia, but he ain't Appalachia now. He definitely ain't. He is just in bed with everybody else, and Peter Thiel is pulling. Oh, Steve, I don't know if you covered this or not. The Congress had a chance yesterday or the day before to pass a bill that would stop banks from debanking you.
I saw. Yeah, I was gonna. It was in my head.
Guess what the Republican Congress did, which allows PayPal and all the other people to continue to debank you. Conservatism wins again.
Yep, shared that earlier. I was going to bring that up after you got done, but yep, exactly. Great.
Yep.
Moogly. Hey.
Your vaulted conservative Congress had a chance to protect you and said, nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'll see if I can find that again. I pulled it up. I know I shared it around just in case people are like, oh, you're just making it up. No, that's
no. She's a nutball. I get it. But she's one of the few that Laura Loomer's actually run on a lot of this stuff. She was one of the few that actually reported
That was it. Yes, it was Laura. Yeah,
Laura Loomer is one of the few. Like lately, ever since she didn't get an Epstein binder, she has gone nuts, and that I'm all for it because she's just exposing everything. And she's like, "Hey, your Republicans didn't pass the bill that would have protected you from debanking, so now they can take pretty much your entire stuff, your Bitcoin, your account, whatever it is, they taking it." Yep, Loomer is unleashed. And I'm all for it. Let her run wild. She ain't coming after me. So, you know.
It's just a matter of time, man. You're going to get the digital ID. You're going to get the CBDC.
Where's your famous
might get the CBDC this year?
Where's your famous Trump speech?
You're talking about the
entry and exit tracking system. So needed, so bad. We need it desperately. My family's not going to have it, but yours will.
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. We will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
And what is CBDC? Is the what? Well, hey. Let me get Biggie on here. Biggie Smalls. I got him somewhere here. Here's Augustine Carsten.
Our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also we will have the technology to enforce that. Those
Trump, like Glenn Lilly, who was at the NSA, who created the Bitcoin deep hash programs in 2001. It's not a coincidence that Ripple came out before Bitcoin. To me, the dots are all connecting. In short, we're creating a Bitcoin bubble to create a Tether interest, and Tether is CBDC. It's just not issued by a central bank.
Oh, did you hear that RFK, he did float something about, hey, if you're going to be on Snap or whatever the case may be, we're going to demand only certain food be bought on it.
Yeah, we talked about that last time, yeah.
Yeah. So we did talk about that last time. Okay.
Yeah, slippery slip on it.
So it fits right in there. Hey, you're already on a government dole. You're already on some kind of central bank. You can only buy this food.
Well, on top of that, look how many people they're getting rid of. They're firing, they're getting rid of they're not getting rid of the IRS. They're getting rid of the IRS workers. 50,000, whatever. I didn't know how to make that.
Well, yeah, it's supposedly 90,000, so they're slashing half, so about 45,000.
So they end up what they're going to do, they're going to take control of all these industries. They're going to have absolute control over everything. So you got Elon, an unelected guy. Remember, we had the video with Bondi Kristen, or whatever her name is, asking when someone asked, who's in charge of DOGE? And she goes, well, I can't really name the guy. Wait a minute, I thought this was the most transparent of transparent. This makes transparent look dirty. No, you can't tell the name of whoever's running the DOGE. I mean, Elon's not. He's an administrator, as Trump just told you. He can't fire these people. So who's in charge? Who's the puppet master? Who's the guy behind the screen? Doing the Wizard of Oz type deal. They're getting rid of all these people for absolute control of everything. And you're going to have, just because, again, that's why we brought that up last time, or a couple times. You said it too. It was so crazy in the last 4 years that these people would do anything. Anybody would come in, get rid of the woke stuff, get rid of this nonsense. Push back on the trannies.
The DEI. Got to get rid of the DEI, Steve. Got to get rid of it.
That's it, yeah. So you win those, and all this stuff is coming in with it. You don't tell me this wasn't planned. You don't get into this position without help. You had just like after 8 years of Obama, you needed somebody to release the steam. No more fight. No more people upset after Obama because of DJ in for the 40s. If you had Clinton, if Hill Dog was in there, they would have people riot in the streets. Probably.
Oh, it would have been. Yeah, there would have been a significant pushback because.
Yeah.
And they saw that with Biden. They got in and they just said, all right, release everything now. Let's see how much because their plan is, and I talk about it in other shows, put out as much as possible. They'll roll some of it back, but they will never roll all of it back.
Yeah.
So it's really just scattershot, and what we keep, and we're fine if they got to roll it back, because guess what? Next time we'll scattershot again, and maybe next time it'll stay when they roll back other stuff. That's their problem. They talk about Trump flooding the zone with his executive orders. They do that every single time. They flood the zone. You just don't hear about it because you're worried about Brandon pooping his pants, or Obama's NCAA tournament picks, or whatever the case may be. They distract you better because you're so mad at the stupidest things that Biden does that they flood the zone, and you're like, oh wait, what? When did this go through? Oh, it went through in 2012. Oh yeah, it was an NDAA that he signed right before they left in the fall of that year. So
yeah,
every single time.
He hasn't gotten rid of all this. I mean, look at all the promises. Like the IRS is going to be gone. Okay, nothing's happened.
Department of Education. He was supposed to get rid of it today.
Yeah, the file things are just distraction. We all knew that. I mean, if you thought that was coming out, by the way, I got his beachfront property on Jupiter, one of the moons.
Did you buy that from Elon?
Freaking, they're outstanding. 2.3 million right now, cash only. Take Bitcoin it over.
You're a fool. I'll take it in Bitcoin. I'll take 2.3 in Bitcoin, man.
To have what's going on now, you had to have Brandon come in and do all this nonsense, all that nonsense they did for the last 4 years. Just crazy, insane stuff, and everybody knew it. It's like, oh, this is working. That plan's working. It's got to be nuttier and nuttier. Like, there's no way a legit person with a human brain is doing all this. Now this is going on. We're getting rid of this. We're getting rid of that. We're getting rid of. Oh, by the way, here's Operation Warp Speed 2.0 with the RNA cancer jab that Brandon was pushing a couple years ago that nobody's talking about. Here's we're trying to do, Gaza, Vegas. So we're here. We're doing ethnic cleansing. No, don't worry about it. We got rid of plastics. We got plastic straws back for everybody out here. No more trade. We're going to go after this governor because of this school right here and all this. Oh, by the way, here's CBDC. I'm gonna go ahead and hire the guy that owns it.
Big news today. Trump made March officially via executive order Women's History Month. So we're winning. We're winning right now. We are so dominant, Steve. I'm just tired of holding all this winning. Tired of it. Can't help myself. And then eventually we'll get Canada. Canada will be there with Greenland, state 51, state 52. Gaza will be state 53. We're going to have to make a new flag.
Here's Alberta.
Albertans that are working together right now to put together a delegation to go to Washington to talk to the Trump administration about Alberta petitioning for U.S. statehood. It's quite evident that we're being governed by idiots in Ottawa who don't understand that we can't afford.
Why don't you fix it?
Our large.
Yeah. Okay. Question from the idiot in the front row of me. Why join the United States? Just stay Alberta.
Just be Alberta. just be you're big enough. Just be Alberta.
You need a new dad.
Country in Alberta.
Yeah, you can't.
If you're a country, maybe I'll move there because you won't be Canada and you won't be the United States.
Yeah, you might actually have. Yeah, you might have an actual increase of people coming in because you got all those minerals and up there, all these natural resources, and you're not doing him, you're not doing Trudeau, you're not doing DC. Man, that'd be I can get a couple greenhouses.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can get my wife a couple extra blankets and some space heaters. We can handle it. I mean, the solution is not to make these United States bigger. It's already bloated. DC doesn't need more people in it.
You're not taxed enough. I mean, we need that. That IRS. It's that meme, man. That guy turns around, that girl, man. The IRS income tax. I need some of that.
Yeah, I can't wait for the government to give me half the money it stole from me last year. Woo, that's going to be fantastic.
If we leave Trudeau, we probably get a pay raise, but if we join DC, we lose even more. You know what? We need to do DC. Let's do that. That's a good idea. You've been drinking too much eggnog, whatever you guys do up in Alberta.
They've been having too much of that Trump wine. That Trump wine.
I'll send you some moonshine from down here. That'll straighten you out a little bit. Going like, man, why? Everyone's like, this guy's a genius. For wanting to, hey, I'm getting out of the Titanic to get in the the back of the Titanic.
I'm getting into Lusitania. I'll get out of the Titanic to get into Lusitania. That one, because they're sister ships and they both sank. And so I think the Olympic was the only one that didn't sink. But anyway, there's a whole rabbit hole on that. But yes, the Lusitania. Jump out of the Titanic to jump into the Lusitania, because that one won't sink. Oh, here comes a torpedo. Whee! So it's foolish. But you know, people really do want some kind of central authority. That's what they want. And most people desire and you know, these mogtards, these MAGAites will accept the CBDC and Elon's, you know, electric Tesla taxis and their and I would actually take an Autobot to do my laundry, but you know, they'll accept the Autobots in your home and do all these other things, because you know what, Steve, to 95% of the population, it will be easier. Let's think about this. People are conditioned to get the most out of doing the least. And if you're told, hey, you get this much money a month, you can spend it, don't worry about anything else, the Tesla robot will clean your house, all you got to do is sit around like the fat people in the cartoon, Wall-E. You can turn into the Wall-E people, because you'll have your, you know, RFK approved beef tallow fast food in one hand and your Netflix in the other, and you'll sit in your easy chair and it'll be great. Most people, Steve, it will be great, because they won't have to worry about where their food's coming from. They won't have to worry about where they'll take most people will take slavery. And I know that's a loaded word, but that's what you're having. You're essentially, it's slavery. They will take slavery for comfort.
You have that.
And you've been conditioned for it.
Yeah, you're slaves. We're all slaves now. I mean,
yeah,
you got to work 4 months just to pay the government back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you're not, you don't think you are, try paying the master what they ask for when they ask to see if you keep your own car, keep your own property, keep your own house, and all that. I mean, they unleashed a war against the greatest empire at the time, Britain, over a 2% tax on tea or something like that. What are we at? 45% on
at least.
You can't do anything.
That's just federal. If you live in a state like New York or Rhode Island, then you got state tax on top of it.
Yeah.
And then if you're in New York, you got a city tax.
Yeah, the only tax you should have is from your state. That's it. If your state wants to tax you 50%, fine. You can move out of that state to somewhere else.
Yep.
And then states would compete. And then you're going to have, like you see with Florida, we'll get rid of all this. You see Rick and I talking about, man, Florida's looking pretty promising because they're marketing it. It looks more attractive to the consumer. If Florida changes up and people are like, hey, we're going to skyrocket, get rid of this, people will move out of Florida. They're going to live. You know what? I think I'll just go ahead and just give up 80% of my income for the beach. I can't use the beach because I have to pay taxes to use the beach. That will never happen. So it's as they say, it's the economy stupid in a sense. But if you have that, like you said, centralization, they're centralized in Bitcoin, they're centralized in all this other, everything's being centralized in DC. Everyone right now, like you said, the greatest person, he's leading. Trump is leading. Trump is the reign. Trump is saving our country. What's the name? Save America. If you
making it great again.
One person can save a continent. Please pass whatever you're smoking because it's got to be fantastic. Pass the hookah.
Right? And the thing is, like, going back to Florida, let's say they do get rid of property taxes. One of the big problems a lot of people in Florida have right now is insurance for hurricanes, because there's not many options for it because they have so many. A lot of insurance companies have pulled out. You get rid of property taxes, guess what? People can put $200, $300 away from their paycheck now, and they can cover their own. They have their own built-in insurance for hurricanes, Steve. They can just bank. If you bank $200 away a month over a couple of years, that can pretty much cover all of your needs and things of that nature. And so
how did people open up to embrace that when that first came down? I want to meet somebody who was around when they were, in the state house when they said, you know what, we're going to do property tax, and didn't fight back, or didn't say, or the people accepted. That's even crazier. The citizens that accepted it when it came down, not day one, nothing. The day, prior to that, no property tax. Next day, they were going to do property tax. How was there not a revolt? Or like 500,000 people outside the state going, we're burning this to the ground if you sign that.
one of the things that they've done, I don't know about the day one, but the reason why people don't pay attention to it now, Steve, is they do the most devious thing is they roll it into your home loan. You don't see it because
news and reviews for entertainment purposes only. We're not advocating.
Yeah, right. And guys, I couldn't even operate a green screen in my last live stream, so obviously you don't take financial advice from me.
Don't burn buildings down.
yeah, please don't do any of that. But the fact of the matter is, people accept it because they don't see it. They get a bill in the mail while their home loan, hey, your property tax is going up 10% next year, which means your home loan is going to go up by $2. And most people are like, whatever, that's fine. I don't have to, I can adjust for $2 here or there. It's only if they ever do, because a lot of people don't ever pay their houses off, because what do? They sell the house, they pay off the loan, and they roll it into the next house that they do. So most people never end up actually paying off loans. Most people, they buy their first house, maybe they pay a little more for it, and they have $75,000 left on it. They'll sell their house, they'll pay off their loan, they'll take whatever it is, down payment on the next house, roll in the next loan, move on. That's why they can get away with property taxes, because 90% of the public never sees it. They never will. So, and they'll get their little bill in the mail, and most people are like, whatever, do I have to pay this? No, it's in the loan. Fine. Another example, if they don't have to do it, they don't care. Because when you stretch out that $5,000 or whatever over 12 months, it's like $5, $10 extra in your loan. And people are like, I can adjust for that. And so that's how they get away with these things. And that's how the government does it, because they roll it in here, they roll it in there. Oh, you won't see it immediately. Now, if they did it like at a gas tax, oh, by the way, we're increasing the tax on gas by 75 cents. Then people will be outraged, and because that's a direct hit on the wallet. But if they can find a way to make you just not notice it, or maybe notice it, but it's like $1 or $10 every month extra, you can handle that. You can deal with that. And that's how they get it. That's right. It is a racket. Mortgages are a racket. They're 100% rackets. And it's a great way for banks to make money. And people don't realize that. I've been paying my loan for 15 years and my payments. Yeah, it's because for the first 20 years, or the first 15 years of your 30-year mortgage, it's all interest. It's all interest. And then they decide they'll switch it, and then they'll make most of your payment. So really you could pay off your home loan if it was just principal in 10 years, 10 to 17 years, or whatever the case may be. But no, people stretch it out. Your payment is lower, but that's because most of it goes to principal for almost half of it. And people don't care because they're in their house and they can make the payment. Of course, as Steve mentioned earlier in the program when we were talking about homes, in the next 12 months to 15 months, and I know I may have said this on the program before, whatever, I'm going to say it again, there will be a housing crisis. And it will start maybe in Austin, maybe in Tallahassee, maybe in Atlanta, one of these places that grew exponentially in the last 20 years in the South. Maybe it's going to happen in Nashville or Charlotte or one of these other places that have grown.
It's already happening in Atlanta too right now.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Nobody's talking about it. I know you put that up earlier. People are missing their payments just because the amount of money that is being injected into the market, they're still catching up to that.
Well, at least BlackRock is moved on from housing, I guess, to Panama.
Yeah. Well, hey, the Chinese are gone, but BlackRock's there.
Remember hearing that clip? We got a couple investors at the Panama Canal. It was BlackRock.
Yeah. My buddies at BlackRock, they're very happy with me. They like it. It's good. So it's just
fine. Again, this came on just a couple minutes ago. Yep. Trump creates strategic Bitcoin reserve. One day had a White House crypto summit. So I guess that happens tomorrow, the White House crypto summit. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. Trump to welcome crypto elite at the White House. Guys, we are about to get had here.
Yep, we are going to get. I hope everybody's ready for and that's the problem, man. This, they're going to have to come up with, and I hate to say it like this, they're going to have to come up with some kind of foreign policy debacle, some kind of war to distract from what's happening on the home front.
Here's a health ranger on this. Pay attention. Trump has no choice but to default on the national debt. That will cue a rollout of new digital currency, which will likely be based on Tether stablecoin. Top Trump advisor and Zionist supporter Howard Lutnick just took the major stake at Tether per the Wall Street Journal. Those who lose all their money in the coming bank collapse will likely be offered Tether currency or a centralized government variation of Tether to restore their lost money. This is how Trump will sell the CBDC concept to conservatives. It would be better to keep it as an actual Tether than BTC, so it's decentralized. Notice that there is no limit on Tether because there's no limit on dollars. Thus, the money printed won't stop. It will just go into stable coins instead of dollar fiat. This will pump up BTC significantly. BTC is going to go much higher under Trump, but the dollar printing in the stable coins and then in the BTC will create a bubble, digital dollars, Tether, BTC, price, inflation. The ultimate price of BTC could be unlimited because dollar printing is unlimited. Therefore, Tether creation is unlimited. Thus, BTC's coin scarcity is not a limiting factor to protect intrinsic value, since BTC can be purchased with dollars that can be printed into infinity. If you are brave, buy BTC now and ride the wave and hope you can unload before the wave crashes. Good luck whenever that is. Find out that one.
Nope, only your senators and people in power.
Plastic straws. Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, we're good there, man. We are winning so hard. And we're taking care of the border, man. We got the military at the border, so we're good there. And, you know, we're handling that stuff, even though an IED went off at the Texas border a couple weeks ago, and everybody kind of just rolled past that one. You know, the more I'm fine with it, but understand that the cartels will push back. And they already have roots established in these United States, so they will hit back in places that you are not prepared for. But, you know, is what it is in that regard. So you have that, and then you have what is old, kind of like one thing. If you ever watch sports, they have a habit of recycling coaches. You know, a guy coached here, he got fired, pops up at a new team a year or two later. Do that with politicians now, and the Democratic Party is starting to recycle politicians. Remember the hero of COVID in New York who stood up to Trump when Cuomo, and then he got run out of office on a weird charge to put in Hateful Kate, who is even more of a zealot. Well, the revenge of the Cuomo is here.
I'm Andrew Cuomo. Let me start by telling you what you already know. New York City is the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
There is no other place like it.
I kill grandma.
And as in life, we have had times when we are at our shining best. And there are times when we struggle and endure great hardship. But we also know that we can handle a crisis, because we have. We recently did it together through COVID. And we know that the first step towards solving a problem is having the strength, having the courage to recognize it. And we know that today our New York City is in trouble. You feel it when you walk down the street and try not to make eye contact with a mentally ill homeless person, or when the anxiety rises up in your chest as you're walking down into the subway. You see it in the empty storefronts, the graffiti, the grime, the migrant influx, the random.
This is a long commercial, so he's running for mayor.
Yeah, he's gonna win too. He's gonna win. So
good
need
luck
the new boss,
New York City.
Same with the old boss, and that's how it's gonna go there. So, you know, as he sets himself up to do other things, I guess, I don't know, but it is interesting in that regard what's gonna happen there. But I think I think we've cleaned up all of our topics tonight, Steve. If you want to start with our Saint of the Week and our Cry Room.
I'll go with, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, Lakeland, Florida, ends Floridization of city water following Surgeon General's criticism. So anytime that happens, that's very good to see. And more people are probably going to do it, which is fantastic. My Cry Room, I'll go with Gruesome Newsom.
He's running. And I was talking about this in my show today. He's not doing his podcast for ratings. He's creating a digital footprint so that when MAGA accuses him of being an extremist, he can say, well, I talked to Charlie Kirk and I agreed that men shouldn't be in women's sports. So I'm not an extremist. And middle America will go, oh, he's not an extremist. Okay. He's conventionally handsome and he's got a slick smile. Most of middle America will fall in love with him.
Yep. He's not cray. So we're good.
He's starting the move now. He's going to have 2 years of podcasts talking to conservatives and moderates and agreeing with them. Because you know how Democrats used to run? They ran to the middle so they could govern to the left. And now they're going to go right back to it. And it doesn't matter how many memes of JD Vance you have, that a lot of people will be happy to go back to the Democratic Party as soon as they stop acting crazy.
And it happens every year. I mean, because if the GOP wins, they're going to say, "Can the Democrats ever win again?" If the Democrats win, they go, "When the GOP can they ever win again?" They're going to win every other. It happens every 48 years. It'll probably be the other guy. If they don't get back-to-back terms, it's going to be the other team. So it's automatic. You'll probably get in the midterms. Democratic group come through. It happens every time.
Every time. So for my cry room, I'll put Jasmine Crockett from Houston, who grew up in St. Louis, attended a Catholic girls' private school where the average tuition was $25,000 a year. Went to a private liberal arts college that cost $55,000 a year, which I did not attend any of those schools. I attended public everything on my way up. So talking about privilege, and now she is the most ghetto-ish woman you'll ever meet because they think that the black community is so. Actually, no, she's playing to the Democrats' strongest base, which is single black women, or single mother black women. So she's playing to that base. So she's my cry room because she is an absolute just clown of the 100th degree. And my saints of the week, they're plural. I know they're all Freemasons, but the men of the Alamo, because this day back in 1863, they made their last stand fighting other Freemasons. But hey, I'm a Texan, so I have to by default say, remember the Alamo. All right, folks, that's it for this episode of News from the Pew. Please like, subscribe, and share the News from the Pew. We will see you all next week. God bless, and Viva Cristo Rey.